Chaz8019 asks for my thoughts on the new Brandon Ellis TBDM humbucker. Honestly, really good. Seems like the first kind of innovative pickup that I've seen in a while. Because I mean, I don't exactly know the like in-depth kind of situation that's going on here, but I know this is like coils from a bunch of different pickups combined or something. It sounds fat as shit, even through a quad cortex, which is usually not an amp simulator that I enjoy. But yeah, sounds good. Next question: who would win in an arm wrestle, you or Kevin Frazard? Me. Jordan Lopez asks if I've got any upcoming collabs. Do I?
No.
Okay, cool. Kevin Millen wants to know what company I'd like to collaborate with for a signature guitar. So, the thing is, I do a lot of reviews, and I want those reviews to be free of any bias or anything, so I don't do endorsements, I don't do signature guitars, none of that stuff. Because if I did, unless it was like just completely like without any kind of contract, like Harley Benton does that a lot, where like you can just play whatever you want, it's just a guitar that you co-designed that has your name on it, but otherwise, it would always add that little bit of bias to, like, if I said a guitar was good, the company endorsing me would say, yo, what's that about? You're not supposed to advertise anything. If I said a guitar was bad, the audience would say, oh, it's bad because it's not your signature guitar, right? So I don't do that kind of stuff. But if I had to, it would probably be Ormsby. Silver Jubilee on Instagram inquires if I'd consider it easier to be a famous guitarist in a band or a successful guitar YouTuber. Well, here's the thing. I'm neither. That's not to say that I don't have success with what I do, but to call me a successful YouTuber is not... I'm not what people think of when they think of a successful YouTuber. They think of, I don't know, Markiplier. So while I do this full-time and earn enough money with it to do it full-time and all that, I'm not on the scale of a guitar player in a famous band, so I couldn't say. But honestly, touring sounds like fucking hell, and touring is a big part of being in a famous band and how they make most of their money, usually, so I don't have to tour. I do travel a lot, but I don't have to share a tour bus or a van with a bunch of other sweaty guys, and I like that. I can choose if or when I travel. When I do, it's usually something fun, like California here for NAMM, Mannheim for Guitar Summit, Frankfurt for 42 Gear Street, all that kind of stuff, so I wouldn't trade this life for anything in the world.
I'm just gonna put this here.
Noah Selly wants to know if I've found my ideal tone yet or if I'm still searching. Well, there is really no such thing as an ideal tone. The search for tone never stops for me. And that's, I mean, my pedal board has like 30 pedals on it, and I have ones that don't even fit on that thing. I have so much stuff that it would be stupid of me to settle for one tone and, you know, just stick with it and use that for everything. So I like to mess around with stuff. I like to dial and experiment with tones. So the search will never end. But as far as, like, if you asked me to, like, stop the search now and stop experimenting and just keep using what I already have, I'd be super satisfied with that because I have some of the best gear in the world at home. A couple of Marshall JCMs, orange, nice speakers, a couple of high-end custom guitars. I'm set, really. If I could only have one, would I rather have a guitar that's more specific to making my favorite type of music or have a more broad-range guitar in case I wanted to venture out? Well, that's implying that guitars aren't versatile enough to do anything with, because I play metal on Strats. I also play metal on not Strats, but I'm a Strat metal guy, and those guitars were not made with the metal player in mind. Maybe not with a specific type of player in mind, like the Jazzmaster, which literally has jazz in the name, but it wasn't meant to be as versatile as it is. So, I suppose you're talking more about aesthetics, maybe, you know, like a Dean ML or a BC Rich Warlock might not really fit into a jazz fusion band, but even then, you can use it, and it will sound good if you know, make an effort. Future Carlos wants to know if I had to fill in for any guitarist in a band who currently tours for the duration of a single tour, which guitarist would it be and why? Ooh. You know what? It would probably be Lee Altus from Exodus, because that would mean I would get to play alongside Gary Holt, who, by the way, I met at NAMM. What a lovely person. And yeah, Exodus is just one of my favorite bands. That would be fucking sick. Alan Plays Guitar asks, how did you learn to speak English so fluently? Is your German just as good? Well, I am German. For the few of you who didn't know, yes, I am German. I speak German fluently, but I wouldn't consider it my first language anymore. But I just don't kind of consider it my first language anymore since I speak English far, far more because, you know, I do this for a living. But I was basically just interested in English at a very early age, and so my parents put me in like an English class, and then we lived abroad for a few years when I was a kid during my kind of formative years, so yep. Why do you seem to favor 22 fret guitars? I'm aware this sounds very zoomer of me, but I never really understood why 24 still isn't considered the standard. Well, because it's a different... That's like saying, why do you use single coils? I thought humbuckers were considered the standard. Like, the number of frets doesn't change the sound the way that a pickup does. But, I mean, there are just... I just spoke about versatility of guitars and, like, that one guitar isn't for one genre. But again, a Strat is not made with a person in mind who would usually need 24 frets. I mean, look at Yngwie. Yngwie, even in his prime, did not use 24 frets. He used 21. I think it wasn't even 22 frets. And so I don't understand the whole, like, why do guitars still have 22 frets? Because I realize that if they are there, that doesn't mean you have to use them. It's just like, it's nice to have them in case you do need them. But it's just different guitars, man. It's like nickel frets. A lot of people complain if expensive guitars don't have stainless steel frets, but that is a choice that a lot of companies consciously make, because it's not like it really costs them more to put stainless steel frets on there. It's like a couple of inches of metal that doesn't cost you shit. If a Harley Benton for €300 can have stainless steel frets, then so can a high-end custom. That is a conscious choice that some companies make. And it is not an objectively worse feature. I just tend to favor 22 fret guitars because that's what vintage guitars happen to have before 24 kind of did become the standard. And so they are still being made to that spec to this day. So if I buy a Kramer Beretta, that's still going to have 22 frets because it always has. And I like that. Alan Mitchell wants to know, why do bass players blend between pickups and guitar players have to have a switch? Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, if you look at like a jazz bass, for example, you can blend between the two pickups. You can also turn one completely on, one completely off. But if you look at any dual humbucker guitar, the middle pickup switch is the two pickups blended, so you don't get to adjust the blend quite as specifically as you can with like two knobs, but it's a 50-50 blend. And if you look at something like a Strat with three pickups, you usually have a 5-way switch, so you can either have bridge, middle, and neck, or you can have bridge and middle, or neck and middle. So yeah, we do get to blend pickups. So, that's it. Latest video, subscribe and hit the bell if you feel like it. I would be honored. Leave a comment, like the video if you feel like it, and thank you for watching. Just some dude inquires what obscure guitar or amp brand I'd like to see brought back to life. I had a great response for this, and it was Lag guitars, because while they do still exist, and proof of that is the fact that I'm standing in front of their NAMM booth in this footage, they only make acoustic guitars anymore these days, and KDH actually made an entire very interesting video about that. But I forgot to press record on my Zoom recorder apparently, or I just turned it off by accident or something because I'm an idiot, and so the audio got lost, and the original camera audio is completely unsalvageable because NAMM is loud. So, Lag guitars is my answer. Like and subscribe.